Captain Marcus Webb stood on the bridge of the galactic defense vessel Triumph. His hands gripped the metal rail as he watched the main screen. Red warning lights flashed across the display. Another colony was under attack. "Captain, we have incoming messages from 3 different star systems," said Lieutenant Amy Davis from her communication station. Her voice was steady, but Marcus could hear the worry in it. "All of them are reporting the same thing." Marcus walked over to her station. "Put them through." The first message came from New Haven Colony. The voice of their governor crackled through, static. "This is Governor Wilson of New Haven. We need immediate help. The Devourers are here. They landed 6 hours ago. We have maybe 12 hours before they strip everything clean. Please, we need evacuation ships now." The second message was worse. It came from Red Rock Station. "Mayday, Mayday. This is Red Rock Station. The creatures have broken through our defenses. They are eating everything. The trees, the crops, even the buildings. We cannot stop them. Send help or there will be nothing left of us." The third message was just screaming and then silence. Marcus closed his eyes for a moment. The Devourers had returned. It had been 8 years since their last attack. 8 years of peace. 8 years for people to forget how terrible these creatures could be. "Get me Commander Park," Marcus said. Lisa Park appeared on the screen within minutes. She was in her science lab, surrounded by computer displays and alien specimens. Lisa was the ship's xenobiologist, the person who studied alien life forms. "Captain, I saw the reports," Lisa said before Marcus could speak. "The Devourers are back." "What do we know about them this time?" Marcus asked. Lisa pulled up a holographic display. It showed a creature that looked like a cross between a giant insect and a shark. Its body was covered in dark scales. Its mouth had rows of sharp teeth. Its 6 legs ended in claws that could cut through metal. "They are the same as before," Lisa said. "Maybe a little bigger, maybe a little faster, but they have the same pattern. They land on a planet in large groups. They eat everything organic they can find, plants, animals, even wood and paper. Then, they leave for deep space." "How long do they stay?" Marcus asked. "Usually 2 to 3 days per planet. They work very fast. A single devourer can eat as much as 100 humans in 1 day. A group of them can strip a small colony clean in hours." Marcus felt sick to his stomach. He had seen what the Devourers left behind before. Empty worlds with nothing but rock and metal. No trees, no grass, no life at all. "Any idea where they come from?" he asked. Lisa shook her head. "We have tracked them for 50 years. Every time they attack, they disappear into the empty space between star systems. We never find their home. We never find where they go to rest." The bridge door opened and Admiral Jake Morrison walked in. He was an older man with gray hair and tired eyes. He had been fighting the Devourers longer than anyone else in the galaxy. "Captain Webb," Admiral Morrison said, "I need you to get to New Haven Colony as fast as possible. We are sending every available ship." "Will we make it in time?" Marcus asked. Admiral Morrison's face was grim. "Probably not, but we have to try. Maybe we can save some people." Marcus nodded. "What about the Galactic Council? Are they meeting about this?" "Yes," Admiral Morrison said. "Every species in the galaxy is sending representatives. We are meeting on Central Station in 6 hours. But I do not expect much. We have had these meetings before." After Admiral Morrison left, Marcus ordered his ship to jump to faster than light. Speed toward New Haven Colony. The journey would take 4 hours. During that time, more reports came in. The attack was bigger than any they had seen before. The Devourers were hitting 12 different star systems at the same time. They had never attacked so many places at once. Usually they hit 1 or 2 systems and then disappeared. "Captain," Lieutenant Davis said, "I am getting strange readings from the alien ships." "What kind of readings?" Marcus asked. "Their energy signatures are different, lower than before, and their movement patterns are more erratic, like they are having trouble with their navigation." Lisa Park came to the bridge to look at the readings. She studied them for several minutes. "This is interesting," she said. "The Devourers usually fly in perfect formations, But look at this, their ships are spread out, some are moving slower than others. It is like they are not working together as well as before. Marcus studied the display. Could they be sick? Maybe, Lisa said. Or maybe something else is wrong. I need more data to be sure. When they arrived at New Haven Colony, it was too late. The Devourers were already gone. The planet below looked like a brown rock. All the green was gone. All the cities were empty shells. The only things left were metal buildings and concrete roads. They found 3,000 survivors in underground shelters, out of a population of 50,000. They came without warning, said Governor Wilson. He looked like he had aged 10 years in one day. Our sensors did not pick them up until they were already in our atmosphere. By then it was too late to evacuate most people. How did they seem to you? Lisa asked. Different from before? Governor, Wilson thought for a moment. Yes, actually. They seemed more desperate, more hungry, like they had not eaten in a long time. Usually they eat everything slowly and carefully. This time they rushed, they made more noise, they even fought each other over food. Lisa and Marcus exchanged looks. This was new information. 6 hours later, they were at Central Station for the emergency meeting of the Galactic Council. Representatives from 47 different species filled the Great Hall. Marcus had never seen so many different kinds of aliens in one place. The Zeltron ambassador spoke first. We have lost 6 colonies in our territory. The Devourers took everything. We estimate 2 million dead. The Antari delegate was next. 4 of our mining worlds are gone. The creatures ate all our equipment along with everything else. One by one. Each species reported the same story. Massive destruction. Millions dead. No way to stop the attacks. Dr. Emma Stone sat quietly in the human delegation section. She was Earth's representative to the council. Marcus had met her before. She was known for thinking differently than most politicians. We have tried military action, said the Krellian general. We have tried evacuation. We have tried hiding our colonies. Nothing works. The Devourers always find a way. Maybe we need to try something else, Dr. Stone said quietly. The room went silent. All eyes turned to her. What do you mean, human? Asked the Zeltron ambassador. I mean, maybe we are looking at this wrong, Dr. Stone said. We keep treating the Devourers like an enemy army. But what if they are something else entirely? The Krellian general laughed. What else could they be? They destroy everything they touch. Dr. Stone stood up. That is exactly what I want to find out. Dr. Emma Stone walked through the quiet halls of Central Station. The emergency council meeting had ended 3 hours ago. Most delegates had returned to their ships or quarters, but Emma could not sleep. Her mind kept turning over the same questions. Again and again, she made her way to the station's data center. The large room was filled with computers that stored information from across the galaxy. If she was going to find answers about the Devourers, this was the place to look. Computer, show me all records of Devourer attacks from the past 100 years, she said. The main screen lit up with hundreds of files. Attack reports, military studies, survivor interviews, and scientific observations. Emma had read most of them before, but she wanted to see them all together. Sort by date and location, she said. As the data organized itself, Emma began to see something interesting. The attacks were not random. They followed a pattern. The Devourers appeared in the same regions of space every few decades. They always came from the direction of the galactic rim, from the empty space beyond the last stars. Computer, overlay this data with star charts of the outer rim regions. Now Emma could see something even more interesting. The Devourer attacks seemed to follow the movement of cosmic phenomena. Solar winds, radiation storms, and other space weather patterns all lined up with when and where the attacks happened. This is not random, she said to herself. There is a reason they come when they do. Her communication device beeped. It was Dr. Ben Clark, her research partner back on Earth. Emma, I got your message about the new attacks, Ben said. His face appeared on her small screen. He looked worried. How bad is it this time? Worse than before, Emma said. But I think I am starting to understand something. Ben, I need you to look at the data I am sending you. Look at the timing of the attacks. Ben was quiet for several minutes as he reviewed the information. Emma could see his eyes moving as he read through the files. You are right, Ben said finally. This is definitely a pattern, but what does it mean? I think the Devourers are not attacking us by choice, Emma said. I think they are being forced to. Forced by what? Emma pulled up a chart showing deep space conditions in the outer rim. Look at this. Every time the Devourers attack, there has been a major disruption in their home region. Solar storms, radiation bursts, changes in cosmic conditions. You think they are refugees, Ben said. It was not a question. I think they are starving, Emma said. Meanwhile, on the other side of the galaxy, Captain Marcus Webb was having his own revelation. The Triumph was patrolling the border between human space and the area where the Devourers had last been seen. Captain, Lieutenant Amy Davis called from her station. I am picking up a small ship on sensors. It matches Devourer technology. Marcus felt his heart rate increase. How many ships? Just one, sir. It appears to be alone. Battle stations, Marcus ordered. But then he stopped. Wait, is it attacking anything? Amy checked her sensors again. No, sir. It is just sitting there, not moving toward any planets or stations. Marcus thought about Dr. Stone's words from the council meeting. Maybe they were looking at this wrong. Maybe it was time to try something different. Open a communication channel, he said. Sir? Amy looked confused. You heard me. Try to contact that ship. Amy worked at her controls. Channel open, Captain, but I do not know if they will understand us. Marcus took a deep breath. Unknown vessel, this is Captain Marcus Webb of the Galactic Defense Force. Please respond. Silence filled the bridge. Then slowly, a series of beeps and tones came through the speakers. That is not language, said Commander Lisa Park, who had come to the bridge when the alert sounded. It sounds like mathematics. Amy nodded. The computer is analyzing the patterns. It looks like they are sending us mathematical sequences. Can we respond? Marcus asked. I think so, Amy said. The computer can generate similar patterns. For the next hour, Marcus and his crew exchanged mathematical messages with the alien ship. Slowly, a basic communication system developed. Numbers led to simple concepts. Simple concepts led to basic ideas. Captain, Lisa said, studying the alien responses. I do not think this is an attack ship. The energy readings are all wrong. And the way it is responding to us, it seems curious. Not hostile. What do you mean? It keeps asking us questions, at least I think they are questions. It wants to know about our ship, our technology, our location, but not in a threatening way, more like it is lost. At that moment, Amy received a priority message from Earth. Captain, Dr. Stone is calling from Central Station. She says it is urgent. Emma's face appeared on the main screen. She looked excited. Marcus, I need you to try something. Send that alien ship mathematical sequences based on biological patterns, food chains, growth cycles, anything related to nutrition and survival. Marcus looked confused. Why? Just trust me, Emma said. Amy worked at her controls and sent the requested information. The response from the alien ship was immediate and dramatic. The mathematical patterns became more complex and urgent. Lisa, what are they saying? Marcus asked. Lisa studied the patterns. Her face went pale. Captain, if I am reading this correctly, they are describing starvation, hunger, desperation. Emma nodded from the screen. That is what I thought. Marcus, that ship is not scouting for an attack. It is looking for food. Back on Earth, Dr. Paul Martinez was working late in his agricultural laboratory. He had spent his career studying how to grow food in difficult conditions. Space colonies, hostile planets, extreme environments. He had solved them all. His computer chimed with an incoming message from Dr. Stone. It contained all the data from the Devourer encounters, including the new information from Captain Webb's ship. Paul read through everything twice. Then he sat back in his chair and stared at the ceiling. Computer, Show me deep space biological surveys from the outer rim regions, he said. The information that appeared made his heart race. There, in the data from decades of exploration, was the answer. The outer rim had once been rich with a specific type of space-dwelling algae. These microscopic plants floated in the cosmic dust and fed on radiation from distant stars. But something had happened. The recent cosmic storms and radiation changes had wiped out most of the algae colonies. The ecosystem that had existed for millions of years was collapsing. Paul immediately called Emma at Central Station. "Emma, I think I know what is happening," he said without introduction. "The devourers are not monsters. They are herbivores. They eat plants, not meat." "What do you mean?" Emma asked. "The outer rim used to have massive colonies of space algae. That was their food source, but cosmic weather changes have destroyed most of it. They are being forced to find food elsewhere." Emma felt pieces clicking into place in her mind. "And the only organic matter they can find is on inhabited planets." "Exactly," Paul said. "They are not attacking us. They are trying to survive." Emma stood up from her chair at Central Station. For the first time since the crisis began, she felt hope. "Paul, is there any way we could grow this algae ourselves?" Paul was quiet for a long moment. "It would be difficult. It would require converting entire agricultural systems. It would be expensive and risky. But is it possible?" "Yes," Paul said. "With Earth's biotechnology, we could probably synthesize enough to feed them." Emma smiled. "Then we need to make a proposal to the Galactic Council." "They will never agree," Paul said. "Why would anyone want to feed their enemies?" "Because," Emma said, "maybe they are not our enemies after all." The Great Hall of Central Station was packed again. This time, even more alien species had sent representatives. Word of Dr. Stone's theory had spread quickly through diplomatic channels. Some came out of curiosity. Others came to argue against what they saw as human foolishness. Dr. Emma Stone stood at the center podium. Her hands were steady, but her heart was beating fast. She knew that most of the delegates thought she was wrong, but she also knew she was right. "Honored delegates," she began, "I have called this emergency session because we have new information about the devourers. Information that changes everything." The Zeltron ambassador made a dismissive sound. "Dr. Stone, we appreciate human creativity, but we do not have time for theories. The attacks are getting worse." "That is exactly why we need to listen," Emma said. "Because our current approach is not working." She activated the holographic display. Charts and graphs filled the air above the delegates. "For 50 years we have treated the devourers as conquerors, but look at this data. Their attacks follow predictable patterns tied to cosmic events in their home region." The Krellian general leaned forward. "Patterns do not make them less dangerous." "No, but they tell us why they attack," Emma said. "Every devourer assault happens after major ecological disruptions in the outer rim. Solar storms, radiation bursts, cosmic weather changes. These events destroy their natural food sources." She changed the display to show biological surveys from deep space. The outer rim used to support massive colonies of space algae. For millions of years, the devourers have lived by eating these plants. But recent cosmic changes have wiped out most of the algae. A new voice spoke up. It was Ambassador Kate Johnson from the human colony of New Terra. "Are you saying they attack us because they are hungry?" "Exactly," Emma said. "They are not evil. They are starving." The room erupted in angry voices. Several delegates stood up and shouted at the same time. "Impossible," said the Antari representative. "They destroy everything they touch." "They have killed millions of our people," added the Zeltron ambassador. Emma waited for the noise to die down. "I understand your anger, but consider this. They only eat organic matter. They leave metals and synthetic materials untouched. If they were true conquerors, would they not take everything?" Admiral Jake Morrison, who had been listening quietly, stood up. "Dr. Stone, even if you are right, what difference does it make? They are still destroying our colonies." "It makes all the difference," Emma said. "Because if they are hungry, we can feed them." The room went silent. Every alien eye stared at her. Feed them? The Krellian general's voice was full of disbelief. You want to feed our enemies? I want to save lives, Emma said, both theirs and ours. She activated a new display showing Dr. Martinez's research. Dr. Paul Martinez on Earth has discovered that we can synthesize the algae they need. It would require significant resources, but it is possible. The Zeltron ambassador shook his head. This is madness. Even if your theory is correct, why should we help creatures that have killed so many of our people? Because it is the right thing to do, Emma said simply. And because it might be our only chance to stop the attacks permanently. The delegates argued for 2 hours. Most species rejected the idea completely. A few said they would consider it if humans provided proof. Only the human representatives voted to support the plan immediately. After the meeting, Emma felt exhausted and discouraged. She walked to the observation deck and looked out at the stars. Admiral Morrison found her there an hour later. That did not go well, he said. No, it did not, Emma agreed. But I am not giving up. What do you need? Emma turned to face him. I need to prove I am right. I need to show them that the Devourers can be reasoned with. How? Captain Webb made contact with one of their ships. If we can expand on that communication, maybe we can negotiate directly with them. Admiral Morrison looked skeptical. That is very dangerous. So is letting them destroy more colonies, Emma said. Meanwhile, on the other side of the galaxy, Captain Marcus Webb was preparing for the most dangerous mission of his career. He had volunteered to approach a Devourer fleet directly. His goal was to establish real communication and test Dr. Stone's theory. Engineer Tom Wilson was working around the clock to modify the Triumph's systems. He had installed new communication arrays and defensive shields. More importantly, he had loaded the ship's cargo holds with the first batch of synthesized algae that Dr. Martinez had produced. Are you sure about this, Captain? Commander Lisa, Park asked. They were less than 6 hours away from the Devourer fleet. No, Marcus said honestly. But Dr. Stone is right about one thing. We cannot keep doing the same things and expect different results. Lieutenant Amy Davis had been working with the ship's computer to develop more complex communication protocols. The basic mathematical exchanges from their first contact had grown into something resembling a simple language. Captain, I think I can send them more detailed messages now, she said. The computer has identified patterns in their responses. I believe I can communicate basic concepts. Good, Marcus said. When we get in range, I want you to send them Dr. Stone's hypothesis. Tell them we think they are hungry. Tell them we want to help. Dr. Ben Clark was monitoring the mission from Earth. He had worked with Dr. Martinez to prepare the algae samples. If the Devourers responded positively, it would prove that Emma was right. Paul, are you sure this algae will work? Ben asked. Dr. Martinez checked his readings one more time. The chemical composition matches what we found in their home region. If they are really herbivores, they should be able to digest it easily. And if they are not herbivores? Paul did not answer. They both knew what would happen if the theory was wrong. Captain Webb and his crew would be killed, and the galaxy would lose any chance of peaceful contact. 2 hours later, the Triumph dropped, out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of an uninhabited star system. Ahead of them was the largest Devourer fleet anyone had ever seen. Hundreds of alien ships moved in loose formation around a dying star. My God, Lisa whispered. There are so many of them. Marcus studied the fleet formation. Amy, are you getting any hostile readings? No, sir. Their weapons are not powered. They seem to be waiting. Waiting for what? I do not know. But Captain, look at their movement patterns. They are not in attack formation. They look more like a migration. Marcus felt a chill run down his spine. A migration meant they were moving their entire population. Women, children, elderly. All of them looking for a new home because their old one could no longer support them. Open a channel, he ordered. Amy worked at her controls. Channel open, sir. Marcus took a deep breath. Unknown fleet. This is Captain Marcus Webb of the Galactic Defense Force. We come in peace. We believe you are hungry. We have brought food. The response was immediate. Complex patterns of light and sound filled the communication system. Amy worked frantically to translate. Captain, they are responding to the word food. The computer is picking up biological markers in their transmissions. Chemical formulas, nutritional data, cellular structures. They understand, Lisa said with amazement. They know we are talking about feeding them. The alien ships began to change formation. They moved slowly and carefully, arranging themselves in a defensive pattern around what appeared to be their largest vessels. They are protecting their civilians, Marcus realized. Just like we would. Amy continued translating the alien messages. Captain, I think they are asking us to prove that our food is safe. They want to send a small ship to examine what we brought. Marcus looked at his crew. This was the moment of truth. Either Dr. Stone was right and they were about to make history, or they were about to become the latest victims of the Devourers. Tell them yes, he said. One small ship can approach. 10 minutes later, a single Devourer vessel approached the Triumph. It was smaller than their usual ships, designed more for science than war. Through the viewports, Marcus could see the creatures inside. They looked different when they were not attacking. Less aggressive, more cautious. They moved with the careful movements of people who had not eaten enough for a long time. The alien ship docked with the Triumph. For the first time in galactic history, Devourers and humans met face to face in peace. Amy, tell them we have food samples for them to examine, Marcus said. Tell them we want to help. As the translation went through, Marcus saw something that changed his understanding forever. The lead Devourer, a creature that could have torn him apart with its claws, lowered its head in what looked like gratitude. Dr. Stone had been right. They were not monsters. They were refugees looking for help, and humanity was about to give it to them. The alien scientist stepped carefully onto the Triumph. It was the first time a Devourer had ever set foot on a human ship without weapons drawn. Captain Marcus Webb watched as the creature moved slowly through the corridors. Its 6 legs made clicking sounds on the metal floor. Commander Lisa Park walked beside the alien carrying a sample container. Inside was the synthesized algae that Dr. Martinez had created. The alien's large eyes studied the green substance carefully. Tell it that this food is safe, Marcus said to Lieutenant Amy Davis. Amy worked at her translation device. She had become very good at converting human words into the mathematical patterns the aliens understood. A series of beeps and tones filled the air. The alien responded with its own complex sounds. Amy listened carefully. Captain, it says the chemical composition is correct, but it wants to know how we made this. It seems surprised that we can create their food. Lisa handed the container to the alien scientist. The creature opened it carefully and examined the algae more closely. Then it did something unexpected. It took a small taste. The effect was immediate. The alien's body straightened up. Its movements became quicker and more energetic. It made excited sounds that Amy's computer translated as expressions of joy. It works, Lisa said with amazement. The algae actually works. The alien scientist immediately began asking questions through the translation system. How much could humans produce? How quickly? What did humans want in return? Marcus looked at his crew. This was the moment that would change everything. Tell it we want peace, he said. Tell it we want to help all of its people. Back on Earth, Dr. Paul Martinez was working 18 hours a day to scale up algae production. His laboratory had been expanded into 3 buildings. Scientists from dozens of human colonies had volunteered to help. The first challenge was size. The Devourer fleet contained over 50,000 individuals. Each one needed about 10 pounds of algae per day to stay healthy. That meant producing 500,000 pounds of food every single day. We need to convert entire agricultural worlds, Paul told Dr. Ben Clark during their daily planning meeting. Regular farming cannot produce enough. Ben looked at the production numbers. What about food for humans? If we convert our farms to make algae, what will we eat? We have synthetic food production on most colonies now, Paul said. It will be difficult, but we can manage for a few years while we build dedicated algae facilities. The news of the peaceful contact spread quickly through human space. Governor Mike Ross of New Terra was the first to volunteer his world for conversion. My people lost family members to devourer attacks, he told the emergency council meeting. But if Dr. Stone is right, those attacks happened because they were starving. We want to help. Director Kate Johnson from the Mars Agriculture Center was next. We have the most advanced biofactories in human space. We can convert our systems to algae production within 3 months. One by one, human colonies across dozens of star systems volunteered to sacrifice their own food production to help their former enemies. It was the largest humanitarian effort in galactic history, but not everyone supported the plan. Security reports came in about sabotage attempts on production facilities. Some alien species were angry that humans would help the devourers instead of destroying them. Lieutenant Colonel Grace Thompson was put in charge of security for the algae program. She discovered that radical groups from several species were planning attacks on human colonies. They think we are weak, she reported to Admiral Morrison. They cannot understand why we would feed our enemies. What do you recommend? Admiral, Morrison asked, increase security at all production sites, and we need diplomatic support from the species that agree with our approach. Meanwhile, Dr. Ben Clark had been working with the alien scientist from Captain Webb's ship. The creature had volunteered to stay with humans to help with the communication process. Its name, translated into human language, was Seeker of Growing Things. Seeker says that his people have been looking for a solution to their food crisis for over 100 years. Ben reported to Emma Stone. They tried to find new sources of algae in deep space, but the cosmic storms destroyed everything. Emma was reviewing the latest reports from the production facilities. How many of their people are there total? Seeker estimates about 2 million across all their fleets. They have been split into smaller groups to search for food more efficiently. Emma felt the weight of responsibility. 2 million lives depended on humanity's ability to produce enough food, and they had to do it while dealing with sabotage from other species. Ben, ask Seeker if his people have any technology that could help us. Maybe they know better ways to grow algae. When Ben asked the question, Seeker became very excited. Through the translation system, it explained that devourers had been growing algae for millions of years. They had techniques that humans had never imagined. It says they can show us how to increase production by 5 times, Ben reported, but they need to bring some of their bioengineers to work with our scientists. Emma made the decision immediately. Tell Seeker yes, we will welcome their engineers. 2 weeks later, the first group of devourer scientists arrived at the Mars Agriculture Center. The sight of former enemies working alongside human farmers would have been impossible to imagine just months before. The alien bioengineers brought knowledge that amazed human scientists. They showed techniques for growing algae in zero gravity, methods for increasing nutritional content, and ways to process the food more efficiently. Working together, human and devourer scientists increased algae production beyond anything they had thought possible. The first major shipment was ready ahead of schedule. Captain Webb personally delivered the cargo to the main devourer fleet. This time, his ship was escorted by both human and alien vessels working together. When the devourers received the food, their reaction confirmed everything Dr. Stone had theorized. The attack stopped immediately. Ships that had been heading toward inhabited systems turned around and returned to the fleet. They are powering down their weapons, Lisa reported from the Triumph's bridge. All of them. Through the communication system, the devourer leadership sent a message to Captain Webb. Amy translated it carefully. Captain, they are expressing gratitude. They want to know what humans need in return for the food. Marcus thought about the question. What did humanity want from this arrangement? Tell them we want friendship, he said finally. Tell them we want to work together to solve both of our problems. The alien response surprised everyone. The devourers offered to share their advanced biotechnology with humans. They had techniques for restoring damaged ecosystems, methods for growing food in hostile environments, and knowledge about cosmic phenomena that could help predict natural disasters. They want to give us as much as we are giving them, Amy reported. They see this as a partnership, not charity. Dr. Stone watched the news reports from Central Station. The galaxy was changing before her eyes. Species that had been enemies for generations were learning to work together. But she knew this was just the beginning. The real test would come when other alien species saw how successful the human-devourer partnership had become. Some would be inspired to join them. Others would be threatened by this new alliance. The future would depend on whether the galaxy chose cooperation or continued conflict. 6 months after the first peaceful contact, the algae production program had grown beyond anything anyone had imagined. Dr. Mary White stood in the control center of New Terra's largest biofactory and watched the numbers on her screen. "We are now producing 2 million pounds of algae per day," she reported to the morning briefing. "That is enough to feed the entire known devourer population." But the program faced new challenges every day. James Mitchell, the logistics coordinator, had the difficult job of managing supply deliveries across dozens of star systems. "The main problem is distance," he explained to the planning committee. "Some devourer fleets are weeks away from the nearest production facility. We need more transport ships and better distribution centers." Human colonies were working around the clock to support the effort. Factories that had once produced consumer goods were now making transport containers for algae shipments. Ships that had carried passengers were converted to cargo haulers. The sacrifices were enormous, but so was the support. Public opinion polls showed that 90% of humans approved of the feeding program. Children in schools raised money to buy supplies. Retired farmers came out of retirement to help with production. However, not everyone in the galaxy was happy with humanity's choice. Colonel Frank Taylor, head of security for the algae program, discovered a serious threat. Intelligence reports showed that several alien species were planning coordinated attacks on human production facilities. "They see our partnership with the Devourers as a betrayal," he reported to Admiral Morrison. "The Krellian Empire has been the most vocal opponent. They think we are creating a new military alliance against them." Admiral Morrison studied the intelligence reports. "Are we in danger of war?" "Possibly," Frank said. "The radicals believe that if they destroy enough production facilities, we will abandon the Devourers. Then they can go back to fighting them the old way." "What do you recommend?" "We need diplomatic support from the moderate species, and we need to show everyone that this partnership benefits the entire galaxy, not just humans and Devourers." That was where diplomat Susan Baker came in. She had been working tirelessly to build support for the feeding program among other alien species. "The key is showing them the benefits," she explained to Dr. Stone during one of their regular strategy meetings. "The Devourers have already shared biotechnology that has helped restore damaged ecosystems on 12 different worlds." Emma looked at the latest reports. "What about the Antari? Have they changed their position?" "Some of their scientists are interested," Susan said. "They have mining worlds that were damaged by industrial accidents. The Devourer restoration techniques could help them. But convincing governments was different from convincing scientists. The Antari leadership was still suspicious of any cooperation with former enemies. The first major test of the galaxy's commitment came when a Devourer fleet approached the Vega system. This system was home to 3 different alien species, none of which had agreed to support the feeding program. Captain Webb commanded the supply convoy that was bringing algae to the Devourer fleet. His ships were escorted by vessels from both human and Devourer forces. "This is the moment of truth," he told Commander Lisa Park as they approached Vega space. "If the local species attack us, it could start a war." The tension was obvious as soon as they entered the system. Warships from all 3 local species were waiting for them. The Devourer fleet had stopped at the edge of the system, clearly trying to avoid conflict. "Captain, we are being hailed by the Vegan Defense Force," Lieutenant Amy Davis reported. "Put them through." An alien face appeared on the screen. It belonged to Commander Thek, leader of the local defense forces. "Human vessel, you are not welcome here. Turn around and leave our space." Captain Webb remained calm. "Commander Thek, we are on a humanitarian mission. We are delivering food to prevent starvation." "You are delivering supplies to our enemies," Commander Thek replied. "We will not allow it." "These are not enemies anymore," Webb said. "They are refugees who need help." Behind the Vegan ships, Webb could see the Devourer fleet. The alien vessels remained motionless, their weapons powered down. They were not threatening anyone. They were simply waiting for food. "Commander Thek," Webb said, "I am going to show you something." He ordered Amy to broadcast the communication protocols that had been developed with the Devourers. For the next 10 minutes, mathematical patterns and biological data filled the communication channels. "This is what they have been trying to tell us for 50 years, Webb explained. "They are not conquerors. They are farmers whose crops have failed." Commander Thek was quiet for a long moment. "Even if that is true, why should we care? They have destroyed many of our worlds." "Because," Webb said, "they did not know there was any other choice. Now there is." The standoff continued for 3 hours. Ships from both sides faced each other across empty space, neither willing to fire the first shot. Then something unexpected happened. A small ship launched from one of the Devourer vessels and approached the human convoy. It was a medical ship, carrying Devourer doctors and bioengineers. "Captain Webb," Amy translated from the alien transmission, "they are offering to help heal the damaged worlds in the system. They say they have techniques that can restore ecosystems that were harmed by previous attacks." Commander Thek heard the translation. "They want to repair the damage they caused?" "Yes," Webb said. "They want to make things right." The standoff ended when one of the local species, the Centauri, agreed to allow the supply convoy to pass. Their representative, Ambassador Chen, had lost his homeworld to a Devourer attack 10 years earlier. "If there is a chance to prevent this from happening to others," he said, "then we must try." The algae delivery was completed without violence. But more importantly, the Devourer bioengineers began working with local scientists to restore the damaged Centauri worlds. Within weeks, dead planets were showing signs of new life. Plants that had been extinct for decades began growing again. Water sources that had been contaminated were purified using Devourer biotechnology. News of the restoration spread quickly through the galaxy. Species that had been skeptical of the feeding program began to change their minds. Dr. Stone received reports from diplomatic missions across known space. The Antari had agreed to allow supply convoys through their territory. The Zeltran Empire had offered to provide transport ships for algae deliveries. Even some members of the Krellian Empire were beginning to question their government's opposition to the program. "The tide is turning," Susan Baker reported during a strategy meeting. "Public opinion is shifting in our favor." But the real breakthrough came when the first joint exploration mission was announced. Captain Webb would command a fleet that included both human and Devourer ships. Their goal was to map unexplored regions of space and look for new sources of natural algae. "We are not just feeding them," Dr. Stone explained to the Galactic Council. "We are working together to find permanent solutions." The exploration fleet included the most advanced ships from both species. Human technology provided faster-than-light travel and long-range sensors. Devourer technology provided biological analysis equipment and ecosystem restoration tools. "This is what cooperation looks like," Admiral Morrison told the assembled delegates. "Not one species dominating another, but different peoples working together to solve common problems." The mission launched to coverage from news services across the galaxy. For the first time in 50 years, ships that had once been enemies were exploring space together. On the bridge of the Triumph, Captain Webb looked at his mixed crew. Human officers worked alongside Devourer scientists. The translation barriers that had once seemed impossible to overcome had become simple communication tools. "Set course for the outer rim," he ordered. "Let us go find some algae." The ship jumped to faster-than-light speed, carrying hopes for a new kind of future. A future where differences led to cooperation instead of conflict.